Hi, friends.
Welcome to Leave Me Alone. I'm working on it.
Also commonly known as Chaos Central, Riot
Chaos.
Central. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Mostly we're
Sometimes.
sane. Mostly we're sane. Sometimes we're like two in our own world having fun. No clue if it makes sense to everyone
To
else
anyone
listening or
else. That's actually
watching.
very
So
true.
we apologize.
Very, very true. Actually, very, very true. But yes, today I am dressed very formally, as you
I
can
can see
see.
that you're wearing your
I'm
Olivia Pope outfit.
my Olivia Pope
Minus
outfit.
the Olivia Pope hair, though.
Mine is the Olivia Pope hair. I did have my hair braided
Loving
today,
the
so my
braids. Loving
braids
it.
are so painful but very
What do
pretty.
you guys call these braids in South Africa?
Yo, cornrows straight up.
Haibo. We call them Ghana weaving in Nigeria.
Ghana weaving. What does
Don't
that
ask
mean?
me. Ghana, like the country,
No,
weaving.
but what
Weaving
does it
hair.
mean?
Actually, I don't know. If you're Nigerian,
What
help
is
me
the
out here.
subtext?
I feel like maybe because it originated in Ghana
Oh,
or
the straight up? The
the
straight up
way,
cornrow?
no, not the cornrow, so it's the way the weaving is done. So
Oh.
when you start the braids, oftentimes they start with just your hair, right? The tiny pair at the front,
Ah,
and then they
yeah.
start to add the extension
Yes,
one after the other,
correct.
and then they make it bigger as they
Correct.
go along. I
Yes.
don't know if that technique originated in Ghana or
In
if
Ghana.
the Ghanaians brought it to Nigeria, or if it's just that most of the people who used to do that hair, like the stylists, were from Ghana. I actually don't know. I
Okay.
must ask this thing. But that's what we call
Well,
them.
okay.
And I was gonna say to you, I love your Ghana weave, and I was like, wait, I don't know what it's
This
called anywhere else in the
she's
world.
not gonna understand what you're
She's not
saying.
gonna understand. Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, so today I'm dressed corporate because we're gonna talk a little bit more about corporate. I say a
okay.
little bit more because I have talked about it a lot in the past.
You
I will
have.
continue to talk about it because it is my lived reality. And I think it is the lived reality of a lot of people in the world navigating the wild space that is corporate. And the
Mm,
more we unpack corporate, the more insane it truly
mm,
is. So
yeah.
today I want to talk about how do you manage a shitty boss
Oh, okay.
without losing your mind and without losing your job.
And without losing your integrity
And without
as
losing your
well.
integrity. That's a really good one. That's a really, really good point. I think we've all been there. Have you had a bad boss?
Oh, girl,
Okay,
don't get me
we've all
started.
been there. We've all been there where we've had bad bosses. Maybe we've had bad clients because for the time of the contract, they're kind of your
I've had
boss.
both. I've had bad
Yeah,
bosses, bad clients, bad
same.
coworkers. Sure.
Bad
Bad,
all of the
bad,
above.
bad. Oh, what is it? Bad group project members. Didn't we just hate group
Oh,
projects in
group
uni?
projects are the worst. Group projects are the worst. Can we just talk about how corporate is actually just high school? Like it's just
Right?
high school.
And it's
It's
just one
just
big
high
group
school.
project.
It's insane. Would never ending.
Never
Never
ending group
ending.
project. But the person whose voice is the loudest being the person who does the smallest amount of work. Yeah.
Correct. And let's also just talk about how that person normally is the one in corporate who gets promoted and is sucking
Yes,
everybody's boss.
because they're the loudest one. They're the most visible one. They're the one everyone
Gosh.
sees. But they
Everybody
do
sees,
so
yeah.
little.
They do the actual least. But yeah, so we've all had bad bosses. I've had bad bosses, or you've had bad bosses. I've had
Hmm.
bosses that have made me want to pull my hair out of my head. I've had bosses that have made me question my self-worth. I've had bosses who have been so obviously incompetent. I've had
Hmm.
to work very hard to remain respectful. Just being
Yeah.
honest.
Hmm.
Like I have had bosses. I let me tell you, okay, I will tell you a story about a boss that I had once. Yo, this boss was um I want to it was a crazy time, so I do want to tell the story respectfully as well. But he really, man, this man put me through the most. But like basically, he was the kind of boss who I didn't know what I was getting day to day. Like day to day, I had no idea who I was getting. Was it someone who was super happy and jovial? Was it
Mm.
someone who was like fuming to the point where, steam is coming out of his ears? Was it
Mm.
someone who was like deeply depressed and like super down? I just had no idea. The one day we had a one-to-one, okay? And this was pre-COVID, so we were in the office all the time. And I go to the meeting room where we're supposed to have a one-to-one, and he is 15 minutes late, and he arrives, and then he sits down, and then he starts crying.
Wait, what?
Your face
Like, I wouldn't
starts
even know
crying.
what to
Nah,
do.
girl. And at this point, like, I was still fairly junior. Like, I'd maybe been in the company like 2, 3 years. Um, and compared to him, very junior. Um, and he starts crying and he's like sobbing. And when I say crying and sobbing, I mean ugly cry. Like snot, the tears, the all of the things. Now, I am like, this is obviously something horrible has happened. I'm like, someone
Was this
has
a face
died,
to
or like,
face or a
this
virtual
was we
meeting?
were in the same room. We're in the same room.
Oh.
And I'm like, something is really wrong. And my nature is to like comfort. So I
Mm.
got up and I literally put my arms around him and I was just like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what's happened, but like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I remember so this went on for maybe about like 30 minutes.
What? He cried for
Yeah,
30 minutes
no,
in a meeting.
like it really. So he cried for like 30 minutes. And then he just got up and left. Like no explanation, nothing. And I remember this also just because like when he left, like my shoulder was just covered in his like tears and snot. It was really
Oh
gross.
gosh.
But like, do you know what I mean? Like that, and this is my boss. Anyway, I obviously don't have a one-to-one that day. I don't see him for the rest of the day. Obviously, he's left and he's gone home or whatever. But the next day, whether it was a result of his like shame or embarrassment, like treated me like scum, 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 scum of the earth. Um, it was just really horrible. But I found out that he'd broken up with his girlfriend, or his girlfriend had broken up with him. Anyway, many years later, I find out that he was diagnosed with like major bipolar. Like, so he had
That tracks.
like like episodes, like manic episodes,
Mm.
manically up, manically
Mm.
down, and that's what we as a team were witnessing and experiencing.
Mm.
But he carried a lot of shame about it. Anyway, I think the reason I tell the
But wasn't
story
he
is
getting treatment for this?
at that point when he was crying on my shoulder, no. Later he got the help that he needed and he was on medication. But
Understood.
like,
Well, that
yeah.
that changes like the story is different now from that perspective.
Of course.
Cuz
But I think that's also part of the whole conversation is that like your boss is a person, right?
yeah,
Like
for
your
sure.
boss is a human being who has
Mm.
human emotions and human experiences, and it doesn't excuse behavior. Like even with the context, his behavior was inappropriate,
Mhm.
and it wasn't right for me also to encourage it,
Mm.
okay? Because that's not what our relationship needed to be, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm.
Um I didn't know better. I know better now. Anyway, so strange, so weird.
Because I was when you were telling the story, I was like, it's it's strange that your boss is doing this because I'm gonna speak to about me because I'm like for me and I think for you as well. Like if I couldn't get it together, I would rather just beg out of the meeting. Like I wouldn't even go to the meeting. I'm not gonna go to a meeting with my boss. Do you know what I mean? And sit and cry for 30 minutes. Like
No,
sob for 30 minutes.
I
Like
100%.
except like what's happening happened in the room.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
get what
yeah.
I mean?
Got you.
But like
I
I've
got
got
you.
something happening in my personal life. I'll send an email, ask if we can please because I'm like it's very
Yeah.
unprofessional of me. He'll look at me differently for me to just go in there and sit and sob. So I'm like, what makes it okay for the boss, Jiget, to come and do that? Like it's just such
Look, none of what happened was appropriate. Like it just
yeah.
was not, it was not an appropriate response at all. Um and in the at the what I didn't appreciate though was I showed him kindness and he repaid my kindness with pettiness and
Yeah.
with being super dismissive
Yeah.
and treating me like I was the scum of the earth. Um, I was just like, you know what? I was just like, what the hell is going
Yeah,
on?
yeah, yeah.
You know?
Mm.
Um, but like nothing about that instance was appropriate. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to unpack different kinds of bosses that exist. You may recognize a boss you have or have had. And then I want us, Ori, to discuss like, how do we deal with it? Because the other
Mhm.
thing with having a terrible boss is that 9 times out of 10, they're sticking around. Like, they're not going anywhere. You
Nope.
have to figure out a way to deal. Okay.
Yep.
And maybe dealing is walking away, finding a new job, but not everybody has that luxury all the time. So
Mm.
maybe it's also about finding your way through as opposed to finding your way around. But let's see. The first kind of boss, which is a terrible boss, is the micromanager. The
Hate
one that's
him.
always hovering, always nitpicking, always has like 1,000 rounds of feedback before
Mm.
you send the email or the document or the whatever, whatever, whatever.
Mm.
How would you manage a micromanager as a boss?
Sure.
How have you managed? Because it sounds like you've got a story.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it as a boss, but I hate it even more as a client.
Okay, tell
Like
me more.
if and I'm a creative, and if you're going to hire me to work with you, and like you've said, and for the duration of that contract, you are pretty much sort of my boss, I'm taking direction from you and whatnot. But if you trust a person, like you've seen their work or their portfolio or their CV, their track record, you've hired this person. If you've trusted them enough to do a job, let them do the job. Because sometimes it annoys me, it slows me down, it gets in the way, it's too many
Yeah,
cooks, the broth is not going to be delicious. It's just
I'm
a
with
it's a
you.
mess. What I think for me, what I usually do is I listen to you. I take your direction and your input and everything. And then I will oftentimes try to dissuade you from the things that I feel like don't make sense. Um, and if you keep pushing, I often will say to the person, whether it's my boss or the client, I'd be like, I hear you, I understand. Can you trust me to give this a shot? And if what I come back with does not work in terms of everything you are worried about, afraid about, we can revisit. Because I
Mhm.
cannot, personally, I cannot work with you over my shoulder. It's just not
Mm,
possible. And if you cannot trust me and if you can't let it go, then we can't work. So I've often
mm,
tried to I will listen to everything you want to say. Like we'll have a full session, we'll have chats, I'll let you get it off your chest as much as possible. And
mm,
then for the most part, I will disappear because
mm,
I'm not one of those people who wants to check in with you and send you. I will disappear. I will probably not even
mm,
respond to you for like 48 hours while I'm working on something. The next time so you won't
mm,
even see me to micromanage, except of course we're in the office. That's the only
mm.
problem. But I,
I'm
I
with
feel like
you.
for me, just letting them, giving them the space to say everything, do everything, direct
With
everything
you.
before
With
I go
you.
on the journey sometimes
With you.
helps. Sometimes, not
Mm,
always.
with
But
you.
yeah, that's how I deal with it.
For me, I think there's one key thing that you've picked on, and it's this idea of like, because what it makes you feel is that you don't trust me. Like,
Yeah.
you hired me to do the thing. Now trust me to get it done, you
Mm,
know? Um, I again tapping into this idea that bosses are people too. You may find that for them, it's because they don't trust themselves or they don't fully
oof.
understand the situation themselves. They don't understand the work that needs to get done themselves. So they tap in more aggressively. It's
Mm,
about
mm,
making them feel more comfortable than it is actually about you. Okay.
mm, mm.
I've said this before, I'll say it again. My dad has always said, assume incompetence before you assume malice.
Malice, yeah.
Right?
You've said this.
So for me, how I've 3 ways that I've managed how I deal with micromanagers is you kind of have to preempt the micromanagement.
Mm,
So
mm.
I go over and above to keep you in the loop and make you feel included. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I'm going to preempt you making a pop by my desk and send you the update. Even if there's no real new news, I'm gonna send you an update. And I'm
Mm,
gonna label that email update. you know, even if there's no new information. Um,
mm.
the second thing that I do is also approach it like very directly. Like I go, what is your working style? Tell me what your working style is. This is my working style, so that
Mm,
it is transparent and it is open. Because
mm,
then when we deviate from what we said, it's very easy to then go back and be like, oh, you had said that this is what you wanted, so that is how I was behaving.
mm,
And it
mm,
makes them check themselves, be like, oh shit, okay, yeah, maybe this one's on me. And then the third thing that I do is, and this one is a little bit like, you need to let go of your pride a little bit with
mm,
this one,
mm.
but you need to like make them feel like something is their idea. If they feel like it was their input and their idea, they'll feel like that they've done something. And then they leave you alone because
Not always, Cass,
you
because
do
I've
the thing.
had this experience where
Not
it's like
always. I'm saying not always.
fully even their idea. Like I have a different perspective on the thing, and they're like, no, this is how they want it. And I'm like, okay, sure, amazing. Let's do it
We'll
your
do it
way.
your way.
And then we go on this journey, fully go on the journey, and then it becomes an issue because they're like, no, no, this is not my idea. But now I've got receipts, I've got emails, we've sat in a meeting, we've had a call, and now because it hasn't turned out the way they thought in their mind, now they're
Yeah.
just like, this is not my idea. This is not. So look, there's dealing with someone who's a boss who's a micromanager, and then there's dealing with someone who's just a shitty human. Do you know what I mean? Like, and when those
Fair.
two things
This
come
is
together,
fair. This is fair.
it's
Because that,
difficult.
for me, this speaks to the next kind of boss that I wanted to unpack, is the boss that likes to take credit. The boss that steals credit and doesn't acknowledge their people, doesn't acknowledge their team. For me, like, I can't even I can't come up with an excuse to justify your behavior. Like this one, I'm like, nah, do better. Be better.
I because at first I was gonna be like, there's people who are just like, well, it's a team and they are leading the team and they're spearheading the project. So technically, they're giving the entire team direction and it's their vision that everyone's bringing to life. So whatever work you actually put out is a function of, their direction or their management or their leadership skills or whatever. Maybe, maybe not. But where I have an issue with that is like if your team if a member of your team has done something and done it well, there's no reason why we cannot share the glory. Do you know what I mean? Like
Of
in the
course.
in the management meeting, we're like, oh, team A did this amazing project, delivered this,
Yeah.
delivered that. And then when you as the boss gets up there for the award, it's literally, if go learn from the Oscars and the Grammys. You get up there for the award and you go,
And
I
you
want
thank
to thank,
everybody else.
I want to thank, because it really is a
Yeah.
team effort. So yeah, I don't,
Mm.
I'm with you. I don't buy that. Why are you taking? Just be like, oh, it was actually Cassie's
I
idea.
also
You
I also
know?
think it's so easy. It's so easy to do, especially in the corporate setting. Like you go in and you present a meeting and you go, Ori actually had an incredible idea that we do it like this, and this. And so I've restructured the team so that this can be possible. It's
Mm,
acknowledging you and it's not acknowledging your input in the moment and still spotlighting me because I took your idea and I acted on
yeah,
it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's just so not hard.
It's
It's
not hard.
not a hard thing to do. And
It's not
actually
hard.
it makes you look worse if you take all the credit.
And then
Because
people find out.
not even people find out because people know. Like, and to be fair, maybe like management doesn't always know everything that's going on.
Management usually doesn't know
Okay.
anything.
But like the people know. Like if I stand up and I'm like, I had like we've done this, and this. I led the team to do this. I led the team to do that. But like the team is like, okay, but all of this was Ori's idea. Like the team knows. And then they're gonna
Mm.
go and bitch and gossip about it, and it's
And
gonna
now
come
you
out.
look like a fool.
You look
Yeah.
like a fool. You look like a
Yeah.
dumbass. Anyway. So key things for me on how to deal with the credit stealer. Keep a paper trail.
Yes,
Be the one to
ma'am.
send be the one to send the email. You send the email update to the big boss with your team lead on CC. Then the boss knows you did the work, right? Keep a
Mm-hmm.
paper trail, super important. This is a big one. Okay, speak up in meetings.
I was
Speak
gonna
up.
say that. I was going to
Right?
say that. This false humility that a lot of
Mm.
us grew up with, put it down. Put it down. Speak up in meetings, accept credit for your work, own it,
Mhm.
accept the
Mhm.
accolades. If someone says,
Mhm.
"Oh, this was Aura's idea," don't go, "Oh, it was a team effort." Yes, it was my idea. We worked together brilliantly as a team. Yeah, like don't take yourself out of the
Out of the
equation
running.
just because
Mm.
you want to make it seem like, oh, we all worked on. Yes, we did all work on it, but the idea was yours. Oh yeah, it was my idea, and we had graphics from this amazing person, and this amazing person helped us execute it, and that amazing person did this. Like, don't take yourself out just because you want to shine a spotlight on everyone else. So yes,
100%.
definitely speak up, own it. You did great. Yes, I did great. Collect your
100%.
flowers.
Now, the second thing to do, if because that's not easy for everybody, okay?
Of course.
The second thing you could do, and I had someone that I used to do this with, was I will speak for you, you speak for me.
Love.
Like, do you know what I
Until
mean?
we
So
learn how to
I'm
do it,
until we learn
right?
how to do it for ourselves, like we've got this big meeting, we're presenting to the SVP, whatever. I'm going to call out that you did this, and you can call out that I did this, because it's so much easier to talk about someone else's accolades sometimes
Yeah.
than it is to talk about your own.
Mm.
So if you can find a friend, and I use the word friend loosely,
Loosely.
but because in corporate as well, but like if you can find an ally, let's call them an ally.
An
you can
ally.
find
Yes, I
you
like
can
that.
find someone who can you vouch for each other. By all means, use that as a strategy.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, the next boss is the ghost boss.
Wait,
This
ghost boss
person
like they're
acts
never there?
like they're never there. They don't show up to the meetings.
Oh,
Like, why are you a boss? Where are you? I don't see you. It's like the opposite of the micromanager. I don't see you. I don't feel you. There's no guidance. There's no help. There's no support. Things are falling apart. We cannot find you. Like, like
yeah.
this person also drives me crazy.
But rather a ghost boss than a micromanager.
Okay, let's talk about that. Really?
Yes. Rather a ghost boss than a
Oh, I don't
micromanager.
know.
I had this boss. Well, I had three of them
Story time.
simultaneously. I got promoted. So I had a direct manager when I joined, and then I got promoted, and now I was like dealing with like the execs. So I had three bosses all at the same time. And
That's
one of them was
exhausting.
it is exhausting, and they
Yeah.
were what was very tense about the situation is they were three very different personalities and with
Mm,
three very different approaches to the business, and they were handling three very different aspects of the work as well.
with you.
And for somehow my new role now fell under all three of them, right? And
With
so
you.
I had this one who was very hands on, wasn't a micromanager, trusted me to do my job, even though I didn't think that I was there yet, but trusted me, pulled me into all of the meetings, with all
Love
the
that.
companies, all of the stuff, would talk me through stuff. He was my favorite one. I enjoyed working with him. He pushed me and it helped me grow.
Mm.
Now, the second one, so he was present. The other two, no, the second one was partially present because he was dealing with
Okay.
two markets, so in two countries. Um, and then he was the kind of boss who was like a a combination of a ghost boss and a micromanager. So he'd
No,
disappear. You
no,
wouldn't
that's
see him.
horrible.
And then
And
he'd
then he
arrive, and
arrives.
the work
Oh
is now like
no.
75% done, and now
Oh
he's
no.
nitpicking on everything. He used
Oh
to drive
no.
me insane. The third one was an absolute ghost boss. Like I can count on one hand how many times I had a meeting with this guy or spoke to this guy or got an email from this
Sure.
guy, but it allowed me to do my work. Do you know what I mean?
I
So the one
get
I
you.
really hated was the one that was the combination of a ghost boss and a micromanager, because
Now that sounds like
so that's why I'm
torture.
like rather ghost than micromanager. Go away. Let me do my
I'm
thing.
trying to think because there's pros and cons to each. Because both you can grow, the micromanager who Actually, do you grow with the
No.
micromanager?
So I'm the
No, you
present
can.
one.
You can grow with a micromanager. You can. You can grow with a micromanager who is someone maybe with like a little bit of vision, someone who like knows what they want. Maybe they're not good at expressing it or explaining it or whatever, but like they know what they want and then they walk the journey with you. Like if you're an independent worker, you might
Mm.
classify that as micromanagement, but it's not actually. It's like it's the pushing you to think about things a bit differently.
Yeah, but that's
And that
not
can be
micromanaging
but
in the
what I'm
true
saying is that
sense of it.
in the true sense of it, I don't think it is either. Yes.
Mm.
But what I'm saying is it might feel like micromanagement because it feels
Mm.
uncomfortable to you if you're an
Yeah.
independent worker. But actually, what that uncomfortness is, that's not a word. But I do that a lot. What that
Uncomfortness.
uncomfortableness is
Discomfort.
actually growth because you're
Isn't that the word
thank
you're
you.
looking for?
Whatever. I don't know. Uncomfortableness? Uncomfortableness is not a word either, is it?
Um, I don't think
You know
so.
what's you know what's so ridiculous about this is that I work in communications. Like I really should
Right.
know the
But the
words.
problem is you've used
Discomfort.
your brain for all of the
Oh
communication
my
work that you
gosh.
do, and now you've come here and you just like have no words left.
It's
So,
just mush up here, but okay. But yes, so the discomfort is growth. Now, with a ghost boss,
mm,
okay, that also forces you to grow because it is like the equivalent of throwing you in the deep end because
mm,
the work still needs to get done. Because
yeah.
if the work doesn't get done, the boss is going to come and be like, why isn't it done? And your boss is going to be like, the workers didn't do
But
it.
it could also slow your growth because there is not enough feedback. You're not, or
Yeah,
there
for sure, for
isn't
sure, for sure.
timely feedback as well. So now
Yeah,
you've done this
for
thing and you
sure.
think,
Oh,
oh, best thing since sliced bread. Meanwhile, you've made a mess of things, but the feedback it hasn't
yeah.
come. So you keep going down this road. So that could also slow your, just
Oh
be
gosh.
present,
All
be
of
a
these bosses.
present boss.
Be present. Please just arrive and do the things. Anyway. Okay, so how do you manage a ghost boss?
I think the best way, honestly, is something we've also said, and that's what I just did. I copied him in everything. Like I CC'd him on everything. It's up to you to read it or not, but you can't say you didn't have the information. You can't say I did
Amen,
things
sister.
behind your back. So that's what I
Amen,
just did.
sister.
All three of them, let's go. CC
100%.
everybody. Everybody
Everybody.
has the information at the same
I
time.
fully agree with that. I think you need to document decisions because the other thing with the ghost boss is they've also got a ghost memory. And they
Yeah.
like, no, it's true. And then now we don't remember. Did I really agree to that? Did I say that? When
Mm,
did I approve that? And
mm.
document the decisions, copy them on the work. If they didn't read it, that's on them. There were many opportunities for them to step up, but where were you?
Exactly. Mm,
Where were you?
mm.
I had a ghost boss as well. And this guy, your laziest mother trucker in the world.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Laziest mother trucker in the world. And I just couldn't like every meeting I was just so frustrated because no support, no guidance. But the friendliest guy, all of the senior people loved him, like gave all the updates, a little bit of a credit stealer as well. Just yeah, just the
Was
worst.
he friendly downwards as well or just upwards?
He was friendly in all
Both
directions,
ways?
actually.
Okay. Because if it's just
He actually
upwards,
was
I'm like,
friendly.
that's a bit of a kiss ass.
When he showed up, he was like such a nice, funny guy to chat to. But like the laziest guy, never actually did in the 2 years that I worked with him, never saw a single piece of work from him. Not one.
True.
Like, yeah, I don't know,
You know
crazy.
the other thing that you could do with having a ghost boss is you can be the one to initiate the meeting, like request a meeting. Because you know your boss is not
Yeah.
going to. If you want to chat, like request
Fair.
a meeting, do it multiple times. Even if you keep getting
Mm,
shut, turned down and he's busy, he's not around or whatever, whatever.
mm,
Request the meeting and have it documented. Like don't ask him on the phone or don't text him. Do it on
mm,
email, so that when
mm,
he arrives to say this particular project or this particular thing, I wasn't aware. You're like, I sent you the email. He's like, but you didn't tell me. I asked for a meeting multiple times. You denied the request. So I think that for me, those are the two things that I do. Copy them everywhere. And then if you really do
yeah.
need to talk to them or update them or whatever,
Yeah,
You ask for the meeting, as
with
many
you.
times as it takes until you get one.
With you. The other thing with the ghost bus is it really is an opportunity if you use it well and use it wisely. It's an opportunity for you to make yourself indispensable. It's an
Yep.
opportunity for you to step up. It's an
Hmm.
opportunity for you to call out why you then need to be promoted because you can be
Yeah.
like,
I'm
I
already
did this
doing the
whole
job.
thing. I'm
Yeah.
already doing the whole thing. You may
Yeah.
as well promote me. Um, yeah, definite pros and cons. Definite pros and cons. Okay. Now, this next boss is dangerous. Yo, this is a
Dangerous.
dangerous boss. The boss that's overly friendly, the boss that wants to be your friend before they are your boss, the boss that's like, hey, bestie, that boss,
Hey, bestie.
dangerous. Okay. Your boss is not your friend. Your
Just
boss
like
is
your
not your friend.
parents are not your friends.
Right?
Sorry.
I feel like when we get older, we are more
That's
friendly
when
with our
you're
parents. But
older, but like
I'm
as
with you. I'm
children,
with you. As children, your bosses, your children, your parents are not your friends. Guys, my brain, it's not
when you
working.
become peers with your boss, then you can be besties.
What does that mean? Like
Like
you're no
when
longer my
you've
boss?
worked, he might still be your boss, but like you are now both on the executive team. Do you know what I mean? Like
No,
maybe
still
he's
no.
like, he's no, hear me. Maybe he's like, I don't know how to explain it because corporate and I have parted ways so long ago that now I just don't even remember the tears
And
and the things. But
celebrate
I'm just like,
this.
imagine if you guys are so, he's like half your boss. Does that make sense? Like there's a team, like an exec team, and you've got some C-suite title, and he's got another C-suite title, but now his C-suite title is just like bigger, or he manages more money than you, and so technically his products or his results affect you. I'm explaining this very badly.
I know what you mean.
Dami
I
would be
do know
so
what you mean.
ashamed of me because I should know better. But
No,
at
no, no,
that
no.
point, can't you
I
be
know what you mean.
friends?
It's like when the CEO and the CFO hang out. Like
Exactly. At
they
that point,
yeah, I'm with you, but
technically,
still no.
still no.
I still
Okay.
I still think like you can be friendly and you can hang out, but I think that in the back of your mind, you must not let your guard down because the CEO is still the CEO.
Not let your
Like
guard down. Yo, Cass, you make it sound like we're going
literally,
into battle.
literally, I just am like, because if I'm gonna call you my friend, we're sharing, we're discussing, it's an open playing field. Do you know what I mean?
But okay, calm down, girl. I didn't say like your home girl or your homeboy, like your G. I feel like
Okay.
there is a definition of friendship in the workplace that isn't
No,
quite the same as
100%.
friendship
But the
in
boss that I'm talking about is the one that's overly friendly, the
nah.
one that's trying to be your friend.
Oh girl, I've made this mistake. I've made this mistake. I have
I have
story
made this
time.
mistake. Tell me
Yo,
the story.
I became friends with my boss. I've done this actually more than once, but this last one was the one where I was like, never again. I became friends with my boss. It was a great time. I'd pick her. She didn't love to drive, and we'd have to drive all the way like an
Mm.
hour to go to set. And part of my job was to pick her up in the mornings. And at first I was like, ugh. But it became such a vibe. We'd get in the car, we'd have chats, we'd bitch about everyone, we'd listen to music, we'd talk about movies. And then day in, day out, we go to work together, we come back together, we work on set together. It was a vibe. We had a good time.
Mm,
We became
mm,
friends. And so we
mm.
started to share. She'd share about her personal life, I'd share about mine. But where sharing about her personal life, to me, I was a vault, she was a sieve. So my personal life
Mm.
was leaving the confines of that car and making
Oh,
it into the workplace.
into the world.
I
And
I
this is not what
I
we aligned.
it was just not a fun time because
So,
now things that I
yeah,
didn't want other people to know or hear about,
people knew.
she was telling them this thing. And what was most painful for me is she didn't feel any type of way about it when I called her out on it. Actually,
Mm.
what she did do when I called her out on it was play the boss card.
You see,
She
because I'm
pl-
your
she
friend until it suits me.
until yeah, she
Uh-uh.
played the boss
Uh,
card and I had
the
to
boss
back
is not your
down.
friend.
So at that point I was like, I'm never doing this again. You're my boss. I'll be friendly, I'll be sweet, but there is a
100%.
boundary. You know
There
that
is a
wall that
line.
Donald Trump wants between the US and Mexico? I built that wall. I paid for it my damn self. I built that wall between
Respect.
me and my bosses. I'm not doing
Well
it again.
done.
Not
Well
doing it. So
done.
yeah.
But it's the right thing to do. I look, I think maybe I'm also speaking from a place of being burnt, but like I think this is where I'm coming from because I've been friends with my boss as well.
Mm.
And it got to a point where we were so friendly with one another that now in hindsight, I feel like he couldn't give me proper feedback because he was afraid of hurting my feelings.
Shoo. Okay, that hinders your growth.
Do you know it hinders my growth? Also, I am stronger than you may think. Like, if I tell me, like, I want to be better. So if you're seeing something that could be doing better, for goodness sake, tell me.
Yeah.
And also, if you are my friend, you have even more right to be like, babes, get it together, you know?
Yeah. But that's
Um,
why it's not a true friendship because a true friend would know that they can be like, Cass, this thing you did is bullshit. Get it together.
but
You
I
know?
think the boundary lines became blurry
No, I'm
because,
with you. I'm saying
yeah,
that that's why it's so difficult. Like it's not a
it's
true
weird.
friendship,
Exactly.
and now it's not
Exactly.
a
It's
true
weird.
boss and what direct
Employee
report.
relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like the whole thing is murky and confusing. There are no clear
With
lines. There's
you.
no clear.
With
You're
you.
not really gaining on either side. You don't have a true
With you.
friend, but now you've
Yeah.
also lost like some of the direction and the feedback that you would have gotten from a
With you.
true boss. I'm with you. I think
100%.
it's.
Yeah. It's a blurry line.
Mm,
And then the other side is exactly what you were saying is that like we're friends until it no longer suits me to be friends. And for me,
mm.
I'm like, it's just dangerous because you create an environment where I feel safe and then you
Pull it out
suddenly
from
pull
under
the
me.
rug
Yeah.
from underneath me and I'm not prepared for that.
Mm-mm.
Oh no, this
I
one for
didn't
me, this
enjoy
one,
the rest of my stay after that thing happened.
of
Like work
course.
became a tedious thing because now she'd pulled this
Yeah.
boss card. I didn't know how to relate to her anymore. My story was
Yeah.
out there with people. Like it just don't do it. It gets very messy. Yeah.
Anyway, um so I think for me with these kinds of bosses, the boss is trying to be your friend. I think in my mind, for me, I'm like, I don't think your boss can be your friend. Like
Mm.
you can be friendly, but you're not friends, you know? And having that boundary and having that boundary be very clear in place, I think is super important. Yeah.
Mm. I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna play a little game
Okay.
where you're going to rate this boss. Either
Oh,
they're mildly annoying, or they're a certified nightmare, or the advice is run and never look back. So
sure.
I'm going to read
Okay.
a scenario, and
This is
is it?
giving those airline reviews strongly agree, strongly disagree. Would strongly
Okay.
recommend. Okay.
Um, my boss scheduled a 7 a.m. meeting on a Sunday and then didn't show up.
Do we work on Sundays? That's the first question. Like contractually, do we work on Sundays?
No, we didn't.
Why are we showing? I'm not showing up. Forget my boss not showing up. Me, I'm not showing up. What?
Okay, so take your level of annoyance about this, okay? And despite being annoyed, you show up only for them not to show up.
That's the thing. You screwed up. Why did you show up? Why? You also have to, this thing where people are afraid to say no to their bosses, and I know it's
Oh,
super tense out there, but you also part of setting boundaries in everyday life and in the workplace is knowing when like owning your right to say no to certain things. I'm
it's a
sorry, boss.
lesson
I
and a
don't work
half.
Sundays, and I'm gonna be I don't know, make it up if you don't even have plans. I'm gonna be someplace I'm not gonna have internet. Like he can't just commandeer your Sunday. Don't show
No,
up.
look, you're not wrong. And I think you're right that there is a lesson to be learned for people to learn how to say no and have that be okay.
Yeah.
Because people will what I have at least seen and learned the hard way is that people will respect your boundary more than you think they will.
Mm-hmm.
Like people if you're like, no, I won't do that, it's hard unless it's like blatantly not okay. people probably won't push back.
Yeah.
But if you like, you show people how to treat you. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're okay to meet on a 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning, then you've set the standard. You're saying that this is okay, even if
Exactly.
behind closed doors you're, bitching and moaning. Okay, so for me, this is a certified nightmare. You are a certified
Same.
nightmare
Same. What are
because
the wait, run me through the
this is
options
chaotic,
again?
mildly annoying,
Mm-hmm.
certified nightmare,
Mm-hmm.
run and
Run
never look
down.
back.
Okay. This is certified nightmare for sure. For sure.
Certified freaking nightmare. You're a
Mm.
nightmare. You also don't respect me. So, yeah, it's a problem. Okay, number two. My boss asked me to train a new hire because I'd be great at it, only to find out that new hire was actually my replacement. Dum, dum, dum.
I have many questions. Many questions. How did you find out? When did you find out? What happened when you found out? I
Yeah.
have questions.
So this one actually happened to someone that I know.
Oh God.
Um, and they were, but it happened in the other order. They were retrenched from their job. And then in the 30 days working off like the retrenchment or whatever, um, the company brought on someone to be in their position and then asked this person to train the new person.
Okay. Technically, they still own you for 30 days, right?
Okay,
Contractually.
but contractually, you've also told me that you are retrenching me because my job is redundant.
Well, that part you didn't say at first. That's
But that's
different
what
now.
retrenchment is. You're getting retrenched because they no longer need this. They no longer need a person in this role. You're
Mm.
not being fired because you've poor performance. The company is saying to you,
Or they just can't
"We're
afford to pay you. And now they're bringing someone in, like they don't have the budget for
maybe,
and they're bringing someone they're paying half the cost.
yeah." Anyway,
Yo, but that's wild. I don't know. I,
I'm still upset on behalf of this
well,
person.
there's
I'm
nothing you
like,
can do in this one because the option I would pick is run and never look back, but you're already on the way out.
you're already on the way out. I think for me, it's definitely run and never look back. But for me, it's also like count your blessings. Because
Mm.
if a company would do that to you, like WTF, man, like not cool, not cool. Okay, number three. My boss told me I should be grateful for my job after cutting my salary.
If you can find another job,
The
run,
business is going through
never look back.
the business is going through a tough time. It's coronavirus. We're having to cut salaries. And you're like, no, don't cut my salary. And they're like, yeah, you should be grateful.
If you can find another job, or let me put it this way, as soon as you find another job, run, never look back.
It would
They
be
don't
another thing
value
for
you.
me if you came to me and you were like, the business is in a really tough space. I'm
Mm,
so sorry, but
exactly.
we have to do this. But this is where we're at. I totally understand if you would make a different decision and you would work somewhere else. But unfortunately, we're going to have to cut your salary by 20%.
I'm okay with that. I'd be
Much
okay
different
with it. I'd
response.
probably still
Yes.
be looking for another job, but I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. But you saying I should be grateful? You
Be
should be
grateful.
grateful I'm working for you. What
Be
do you
grateful
mean?
that I'm here. 100,000%. Man, oh man. Corporate, huh? Okay, last one. My boss once sent an email saying, "We're all a family here," right before mass layoffs.
When we were having this chat about corporate and being friends with your boss, I was like, the other thing that you should never fall for is we are not a family. It is a
Amen.
workplace. We are not
Amen.
now, nor will we ever
Amen.
be a family. We
Amen.
work together because
Preach
companies
it
will
from
sell you
the
on this
rooftop.
bullshit on being a family and then fire you for nothing.
And
Sell
not
you this
think
bullshit.
twice
They
about
won't think
it.
twice about it. And then this thing that they go, the interests of the company and the interests of the employee are aligned. Bullshit.
The
Sorry.
biggest scam. The
It's
biggest
a
scam.
scam.
The
don't
Biggest scam.
don't for
Don't
a
fall for it.
second think that the minute their needs and interests do not align with yours, you're gonna keep you
You
on.
are out the
Don't. You're
door.
out the
You are
door.
gone. You're
Don't
gone,
fall
gone,
for
gone.
it. So keep your heart intact while you work
Mm,
at a company because
mm.
your heart has no place in that business.
My fundamental issue with we're a family is that you don't kick people out of your family. You don't cut their salaries.
You don't penalize them for being sick.
You don't penalize them for being sick. You don't, when they drop the ball or they make a mistake, you don't punish them. Do you know
Mm.
what I mean? Like a family would say, we forgive you. You can screw up the most in a family and still be invited to Christmas dinner.
Well,
Do you
not
know what? No, no,
all
no, no.
families.
Not all families, but you get my point. Like
I get your
the
point.
concept of family though is that like I can like drop out of university because I failed the exams and like
Mm.
I still have somewhere to sleep tonight. Like I still have a roof over my head if I'm
Yeah,
lucky, you know?
yeah,
But like in corporate, if you don't deliver the numbers,
you're
you're
out.
out.
Mm.
If you make a mistake, sometimes you're shaking in your boots because there's no room
You
for
don't know.
grace.
Yeah,
There's no room for like, you don't know what's going to happen. I'd much rather we stick to analogies if we must, call us a team
that's what I
because
was gonna
then
say.
it puts the onus on me to show up for my team,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And it puts the onus on my team to operate as a team,
Mm-hmm.
work together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And then lastly, if you don't pull your weight, if Cristiano Ronaldo stops performing, he gets kicked off the team. He gets sold to
He gets
somebody
sent to
else.
Saudi Arabia. Or
He
where did he
gets
get
sent to
sent
that.
to?
Well, yeah, wherever he got sent to. But like well, that wasn't because he failed. That's because they love him and are obsessed with
Mm,
him. Um,
girl, no, it's because he old now.
oh, is it?
Well, I don't know.
I do not know
I don't
enough about
understand
sports to
football,
participate
but
in this conversation.
But the way it usually goes for most footballers is you hit a certain age, the knees are not kneeing anymore, the back is not backing the way it should, the heart is not pumping the way it used to pump, and the goals are not goaling. They start to phase you out bit by bit. So you go from being like in a tier one club, like playing in the Champions League and the
Yeah.
Premier League or whatever, to being like in these smaller, choicier suburb type clubs, or you get phased. Like that's usually what happens. You get phased out to that, and then from there you sort of transition into being like a commentator or
Shame.
having a
So
show or like a.
is this him on his way out? Is that
Well,
what you're
yeah.
saying?
There,
Oh,
again, I don't know enough about football, so don't come for me.
I also
I
I really
don't
don't know enough.
actually. I've never really seen where you go into like a is it MLS, like the American League or Saudi Arabia or that kind of thing, and then come back to like the major plays. It doesn't really happen
I'm
that
not
way, especially
paying
not at that
attention
age. Because
enough.
even Messi
But you're right.
is also, you know,
Yeah, he is.
trends. So now they're just playing for these clubs, making a shit ton of money,
Shit ton of
living their
money.
best lives, I think, and are just like gradually sort of on their way into
Yeah.
retirement, which is very early for
Interesting.
footballers.
Interesting,
This is
interesting.
what I understand from what Dami has told
Um,
me. Except
okay.
I
Well,
wasn't
well,
back
there we go.
there. But that's what I
But yeah, anyway, I have a fundamental issue with corporates calling each other families. We're not families. We don't love each other.
team. We're a well-oiled
We're a
machine.
team.
Yeah.
We have to deliver a goal, a target, a scorecard, whatever
We
it
can even
is.
be a team who likes each other. There's nothing
We
wrong with
can.
that.
No, of
We can
course.
be a
Of
team
course.
who loves to hang
Absolutely.
out or a team who even loves to go on
Absolutely.
vacation together. But we're a team.
Absolutely.
Let
But we're a
let's be
team.
clear. Yeah.
Very, very clear. That's really it for me on crazy boss stories. We've all had them. We've had them before. We will have them again. Okay, because the world is the world that it is. And I think it really is sometimes about just figuring out how to make it through it. Um, and be successful on the other side. And sometimes that requires you to swallow your pride. Truly. Some days you're just gonna have to suck it up and push. And then
Mm,
hopefully one day you become the boss and you will
yeah.
do and be better. One thing I've
Yeah.
always said is that from my shitty bosses, like I've always learned what not to do and who not to be. There's a
Yeah.
lesson there for sure. But yeah.
I guess the
Anyway.
prayer should be crazy bosses. May we not know them. May we survive them. May we never be them.
Amen. Amen. And the church said, Amen.
That
Anyway,
should be
come
the
tell us
prayer.
your crazy boss stories online. I want to hear them. We want to hear them. We can commiserate together. We could also learn from each other. So come say hi on
Mm.
socials. You can find us on Instagram and on TikTok, of course. And you can listen to this episode and all the other episodes as well on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts as well. Okay, good luck. Love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe anywhere and everywhere you find your podcasts. Also, you can watch and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, love you. Bye.